You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. This is a really, really special one. It is actually my 30th birthday today. Now, my podcast episodes usually come out on Wednesdays, but I made an exception because, as divine timing would have it, this is the 130th episode of the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I can't believe it. I've actually redone the podcast 3 times, so I've always started over. At first it was the growth sequence, and I did episodes for that, and then it was the leading lady, and I did episodes for that. But when I started the From Imposter to Empowered podcast, when I pivoted to just talking about imposter syndrome, I started it over, and as luck would have it, the 130th episode landed on the week of my 30th birthday, which is fucking wild to me. Like, the universe is crazy. But I decided to do 30 hot takes on life and business for my 30th birthday. And when I first started writing these, something you have to know about me is that, I'm a winger. My ADHD brain, I really do want to prepare. It is in my heart of hearts to prepare. But sometimes I physically cannot, especially when it comes to my business. If I'm not excited about something, it's hard for me to prepare for things in terms of speaking things. So I used to have scripts for my podcast before I changed it to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. But I was just trying to be perfect. I was trying to say the right thing and do the right thing. And now that it's a lot more casual and it's more conversational, I just realized that I am good enough, I am worthy, and that means that I can rant and ramble, and the best things come out of me not having to strictly prepare for everything. Now, people that I know who are very successful do prepare scripts for things. It doesn't matter. It just has to be something that works for you. But I find that it used to be an indicator of my imposter syndrome when I used to prepare for things because I felt like I needed to, because I felt like I wasn't good enough. And now I don't. And sometimes, winging it isn't great, but 98% of the time, it is absolutely perfect. And I don't have to be a perfect human. Anyways, I know that you guys love me regardless. So when I was writing this out, I actually got a little bit stuck. I was on number 8 or something, and I was like, fuck, how am I gonna think of 30 things? And then things just started flying out. And another thing I will say too is this is happening as I'm writing my book. So as I'm writing my book about imposter syndrome that is coming out later this year, I am self-publishing it, so I'm very excited about it. As I write that, I have to realize that I have overcome perfectionism so much because I just sit down and I write, and even if it's garbage, I just continue to write because I know whenever I come back to it, half the time it actually isn't garbage. It's just my thoughts telling me that it is. We also have been doing Simone Soul's garbage post challenge in the Worthy Woman Method, which is my group coaching program. And we did that in the month of February, and my clients, they got such great results from doing it, but they really busted through perfectionism and they signed clients, and they just did such an amazing job at showing up for themselves. So if you are a worthy woman client, I'm so proud of you. And it was fun to do the garbage post challenge. It was hard at some points, I have to say, but it's about progress. It's about showing up for ourselves, not perfection. So It's my 30th birthday today. As I am recording this, it's definitely not my 30th birthday, but as it's hitting your ear holes, I am in Toronto with Dustin, my fiance, and we saw one of my favorite high school bands, fucking Mayday Parade. We saw them in Toronto. I was like, what are the chances that this emo band that I'm obsessed with and was obsessed with in high school is playing the day before I turned 30? I was like, we have to go. So we got a hotel room and we're doing all that. So if you're on Instagram, go over at your Coach Jill, wish me a happy birthday, say hello. And I have a photo shoot coming up, some more branding photos, really stepping into that next level brand that's coming next week. And my sister is going to be doing them for me because, you know, she lived on my couch for like 7 fucking months. So she owes me for the rest of her life. Anyway, she says, are you going to use that for like literally the rest of your life? Because if you guys don't know, my childhood home burnt down in October of 2020. And my sister was actually living there with my parents because of the pandemic. So my parents went to go live in my grandparents' basement while their new house was being built, and my sister came and lived with me. So she lived with me for 7 months, and I'm like, yes. Oh, and she lived there for free. So I said, yes, Larissa, you will absolutely be repaying me for that for the rest of your life. So anyways, it's my 30th birthday, and I've got a photo shoot next week, and I am just like very emotional at like how far I've come and how far my business has come. And am I gonna cry on the podcast for the first time in my life? Maybe. How embarrassing. But I am just so proud of myself because I was somebody who just didn't think that I was worthy and didn't think that I was good enough. And I just didn't think that I could create something like this where people wanted to hear me speak, or they want, because as you guys know, I have a speech impediment, so of course it wasn't even just like I didn't realize that people would want to hear what I had to say, but also they didn't literally want to hear me speak because of my stutter, you know, like I have so much worthiness stuff attached to my stutter. And like I came into the online space like so naively being like, yeah, I'm gonna run this business and blah blah blah, and it just took me on a fucking ride. It just took me on such a personal development ride that I'm so grateful for. Like I am so grateful that I started this business because it has added to my life in so many ways. I can't even explain to you like the journey that you go on when you become an online entrepreneur, and that like everything about it is okay. Like you are allowed to be and exist and take up space. And if you don't feel good enough, if you don't feel confident enough, if you look at people in the online space and like you feel like resentful or judgment because you're like, they're talking about making money and oh my God, like I'm not like that. But deep down you're like, I fucking want that for myself. That was me. Like that was me. And I saw myself and I was like, you're never going to be able to accomplish these things. You're not good enough. And I did the fucking work. I did the mindset work. I hired business coaches. I hired mindset coaches. And I worked through all of my limiting beliefs. And now I own almost, like a $300,000. I think at this point it for sure is a $300,000 coaching business on my way to $500,000. I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family in a 12-month period. I'm going to make it happen. And I am just so happy to have you here. And I just am so proud of myself for bringing myself through this and like working through that worthiness wound, because you know what? You are worthy. You are good enough. You are worthy. And the only reason why you don't think so is because stories and past experiences and all these other things that are telling you that you're not, but they are not true. I'm telling you, like, if you would have told me this 10 years ago, I would be like, you're fucked. Like, I definitely am unworthy of all of these things. Like, 20-year-old me had no idea. And yeah, I'm just so happy to have you here. I'm so grateful. I can't believe I cried on the podcast. I hope you cried along with me, because whenever somebody cries on a podcast, I immediately start bawling my eyes out. I'm just a very empathetic person. So when somebody is around me and they start crying, I immediately start crying. So I'm so sorry for that if you did. But It's possible. It's possible for you. I didn't realize it was for me. I was a person living with a disability that impacts me every single day. I was a person that, just didn't feel good enough. And yeah, I came from a good family, but still felt very scarce when it came to opportunities and money and all of these things. And I have pulled myself out of that unworthiness phase. And now I'm so excited to start my 30s in this way. And that doesn't mean that things aren't going to be hard, because of course they are. They're always hard. It's always half and half. You're always happy and sad at the same time. There's always things happening in your life that aren't going to be great, but you are worthy of so much more than you are giving yourself credit for. So I feel like we've already kicked off the podcast. It's already been like 10 minutes, but you're going to want to listen to this whole episode, okay? So here are my 30 hot takes on life and business for my 30th birthday. Are we ready? Okay. Let's get to it. So the first one is you can take your time. So much of my stress in my 20s, like literally the second I turned 20, I'm like, fuck, I turned 30 in 10 years. It was from feeling like I was running out of time. And when I started my online business, I also was telling myself, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. Sometimes when I coach my clients and they feel frustrated or they feel like things aren't moving or things aren't happening, I ask them, do you feel like you're on a timeline? And they always say yes, because they feel like they have to do things within this arbitrary timeline that they have set in their head to prove their worth between this time and that time. And if they don't achieve the external success, then that means they're not good enough. But you can take your time. You have so much time. You have more time than you realize. There truly is no end goal or end result. There is just death, which sounds very fucked up, but I'm telling you, there is no end goal. You will just be looking for something else, hitting the next goal, doing the next thing. You can take your time. 2 is most people in your life want what's best for you. They're not all evil people. Your dad, your mom, your grandma, whoever it is that is like, I don't know if you can do that. Ooh, are you sure you want to do that? Like, most people in your life want what's best for you, but it can be clouded by their own experiences and their own limiting beliefs. See them, hear them, but don't internalize them. If I listen to everything that even some of the people in my family, even some of my friends have said to me, even in the past couple of months, I would not have the success that I do. Like, I can see them and I can hear them, but I also know that they are coming from their own experience and their own life and their own thoughts. I can't control their thoughts. I can't change their thoughts, and I don't have to internalize their thoughts and their belief system. And you don't have to either. 3 is your best investment is into your mind. And this may not feel like enough if you've always felt like your output and your productivity is the most important thing. If you've always thought that what you can do and what you can produce is the most important thing, you are not going to place as much value on emotional and mental well-being. Okay? I have a family that really, I'm the first person in my entire family to go to therapy. The first fucking person in my immediate family, probably with my grandparents as well for sure. I think one of my cousins has gone to therapy, but I would say that I'm the first person. And the emphasis on mental and emotional well-being was not as strong. And that meant that I felt embarrassed and I felt like I was wrong and I felt like I was doing something wrong or that I wasn't good enough, because I was like, how come I can't handle these things myself? How come I need help for this? But as a coach or as a service provider, whatever you do, even if you aren't a coach, that stuff is not, it's not bad. It's necessary. It's needed. And I think about this. So if you are a coach and you offer services that help somebody, your best investment is into your mind. Be in integrity and invest in a coach. Invest in a program that helps you get a handle on your thoughts and beliefs so you can show up as the best fucking version of yourself. Because guess what? You will have an energetic output from doing the work on yourself. But if that's just your only goal, you are going to be going in circles and in circles and in circles. Do it for your mind. Your mind is your best asset. We invest thousands into fucking education, but at the end of the day, like, your education is in your mind. It's what you do with your education. Yeah, you have the diploma, but like, it's just a piece of paper. It's what you do with the education. So why is it okay to spend thousands and thousands of dollars in education when at the end of the day, it's just like coaching or just like therapy when like the work is in your mind? Okay. Number 4 is a belief that falters in the face of a doubt or a shitty circumstance wasn't a belief in the first place. It was a well-meaning thought that you didn't fully trust. When you tell yourself, I have the belief that, if your belief can be changed on a dime by a single circumstance, it's not a belief, it's just a thought. And thoughts can be changed. So I'm going to say that again. A belief that falters in the face of a doubt or a shitty circumstance wasn't a belief in the first place. It was a well-meaning thought that you didn't fully trust. And the same thing for when you are saying, like, I believe that I'm good enough. I believe that I'm worthy. But if you falter on that belief in the face of circumstance and something crappy that happened, or because somebody said something to you, you need to continue to work on that belief, because it wasn't a belief. It was a well-meaning thought that you're trying to cultivate, but you don't have to try to cultivate a belief. Number 5 is be cringy. Be embarrassing. Try new things. No one is paying as much attention to you as you think that they are. Number 6 is so much of our adult triggers were created in childhood. You should parent yourself the way that you deserved, even if you had great parents, like I did, but there were things that they did unintentionally where I learned something that was not helpful for future me, you know what I mean? So give your inner child the love that you need and reassure them that they are safe and that you will take care of them. Number 7 is your biggest insecurities are going to be someone's permission slip. Say it and take away your insecurities' power. When I started talking about my stutter on Instagram, it was the most terrifying moment. I had a therapy session with my therapist in 2019, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do a post about my stutter. I'm going to come out to my audience that I have a stutter. And she was like, I am going to go and see on some fake account, oh, you don't know it's me, and I am going to be cheering you on. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And it was literally the most terrifying thing in my entire life. And I did it. And it was fine. Nothing happened. And the more work that I did on my worth around my stutter, which I still have to do all the time, but the more that I did it, I accepted myself. I accepted who I was. And I take away the stutter's power over me when I decide that it doesn't have to hold me back. Number 8 is the fact that shame is poison. It is so poisonous. You will hide in shame because you think you're supposed to be a certain way or do a certain thing, or that you shouldn't do this or you should do that. Let shame out. You are allowed to be who you are. You are not your mistakes. Air out your shame every single chance you get. Talk to a therapist, talk to a coach, journal it out. Don't keep it inside, because that's what it is supposed to do. Is it's supposed to make you want to hide and turn away and lean out, but you need to lean in and realize that, again, just like the insecurities, when you take away its power, it can't hurt you. You are allowed to be. You are allowed. Number 9 is you can overcome anything if you learn how to talk yourself through it. Having a conversation with yourself in your head, empowering yourself when you're scared because you're about to say the investment is this amount on a sales call and your head's like, fuck, don't say that, offer them a discount, explain it away. Talk to yourself, be like, whew, we know we're scared right now, we're uncomfortable, it's okay, you'll be okay, you'll be okay, you'll be okay, you'll be okay. You can overcome anything if you learn how to talk yourself through it. That leads to number 10. Discomfort is inevitable. You will feel shitty a lot of the time. and it doesn't have to mean anything unless you make it mean something. And I mean that. Overcoming imposter syndrome is literally doing scary things, talking yourself through them, and just realizing that discomfort and anxiety and fear don't actually mean anything. They are completely normal. Discomfort is normal. Number 11 is redirect to the present as often as you can. Redirect to, I am here. All we have is now. I am okay. I am safe. 12 is everyone has something. You can look at whoever you want and tell yourself the story of they have it easy because of this, or this helped them so they're good, or they're completely happy. Everybody has something. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a fear. Everybody has an insecurity, and they all have something. Everybody has something. Look at everybody with compassion the way that you want to be looked at with compassion as well. 13 is awareness without action doesn't mean shit. You can be the most emotionally aware person, the most self-aware person, but if you are not taking responsibility for what you're aware of or putting it into action, it doesn't actually mean anything. It actually means you're less emotionally intelligent, which is kind of spicy, but it's true. It's like you're telling yourself, I'm so self-aware, but if you don't actually change it, then the self-awareness doesn't really serve a function. So you're purposely not doing anything about it, even though you know better. That is a choice. Number 14 is your trauma is valid no matter what it is. It is trauma if it took you out of the current moment and caused you to tense up and live in high alert or fear. Your trauma is valid. Big T, little t, whatever thing that really caused you to be shaken up or disturbed or something that's holding you back, your trauma is valid. Number 15, there is no secret in business. You are the secret. Everybody thinks when they don't feel good enough that somebody has the answers. And I would have to say that that person is probably really good at copywriting, but nobody has the answer. Nobody. They are facilitators of your growth. If you look at every investment, every opportunity for you to learn something and like take you on your journey to achieving the success that you want, you will never go wrong. Everybody is just a facilitator of your growth, whether it's your internal growth or the growth of your business. And there is no secret. They will just have a step-by-step process or methodology, but you have to decide if it's something that you want to work for you. There is no secret. You are the secret. Halfway there. The 16th one is commit to something and see it through. This is really hard. If you have ADHD, I totally get it. You get bored. You want the dopamine hits. You want to change things all the time, especially when it comes to business. Commit to something and see it through. It's like having a baby. You have the baby, and as soon as it cries or it needs something, you're not like, oh, fuck this baby. This baby needs me. This kid is crying and I'm uncomfortable. No. We're not taking care of it now. Of course you are. Commit to something. Commit to something, and no matter if you think you fucked up, if you failed, if you tell yourself the story of I never finish anything, commit to something that is like legitimate. And I think an example of this would be like an offer. Like commit to an offer and see it through and sell it and fall in love with it, but don't constantly be changing things. That will really slow down your growth. Number 17 is you have to be a little delusional to get what you want. Like fucking manifestation 101. You have to kind of sit down and be like, okay, even though I have no evidence for this, I'm going to choose to think this thought. I'm going to choose to create this. All the things that you see around you, all the great ideas, all the apps in the fucking world, in the online world, everything was created from a thought and from an idea. And you have to be a little delusional to truly create success. It's okay to be delusional. Forget what everybody else told you. It's okay to be delusional. Number 18 is it's not bad to ask or want or need. The universe isn't mad at you. There is an infinite amount of abundance available for you, and the universe is not mad at you. It wants you to succeed. Whether it's God, angels, universe, whatever you believe in, it is not bad to ask or want or need. Lean into something that is higher than you, that you can just surrender all your fears and your anxieties and your worries to, so you can get to work. Now, number 19 is your current situation is nowhere near indicative of what you're capable of creating. Where you are right now, if you're in debt, if you feel frustrated, if you feel like you haven't signed a fucking client in forever, if you are thinking about giving up on your business, if you think it's not going to work for you, whatever it is, your current situation is nowhere near indicative of what you are capable of creating. I promise you. Number 20 is expect nothing and appreciate everything. Number 21 is you'll get everything you want if you learn how to feel all of your feelings instead of being afraid of what they'll mean. If you truly just check in with yourself and be like, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be mad. I am okay. Everything is normal. I am okay. This doesn't have to mean anything. That is so fucking hard to grasp. That is such a hard concept to grasp. But once you realize it, you will realize that you can accomplish anything at all. Number 22 is you are not your family's stories or belief systems. You can choose differently. You can still love them and be a part of their lineage. You can be a part of their experience. And again, you can love them. You can love them deeply and spend as much time as you want with them, but you are not their stories and you don't have to adopt their belief systems. 23 is thoughts cannot be changed in fight or flight mode. You need to get yourself to a neutral, calm, and safe headspace before you try to change your thoughts. So if you are constantly feeling unsafe, unstable, and you're trying to change the thought of I'm not good enough, you need to start to work on the feeling of I am safe, I am okay. That is like the bare minimum. I am safe, I am okay. You can do this through meditation, you can do it through breath work. And even if it's just a couple of seconds where you feel safe and content, that is the sweet spot, and that is when you can start to change your thoughts. Number 24 is when you unconditionally accept yourself and respect yourself, most people will follow suit, but not everyone. That's okay. It doesn't mean anything about you. Hold yourself in the highest regard, regardless of what they say or think. I think you really need to hear that again. Like when you unconditionally accept yourself and respect yourself, most people will follow suit, but not everyone. Don't feel like, oh, who does this person think they are talking to me? Or, oh, I guess this means that I'm not good enough because I respect myself and I see myself, but this person like stepped on my toes. How fucking dare they? You know, like people come from their experience. They come from what they're seeing. And some people are fucking assholes. Hold yourself in the highest regard, regardless. 25, no one can save you. They can only support you. Be your own hero. That can be hard to realize, but you have to be your own hero. You have to save yourself. You have to be the one that changes your thoughts and feels your feelings, and you cannot outsource your belief or your thoughts or anything to anybody else. You are the one with the power. They can support you, and you can have friends and a partner and family, and you can feel so supported and loved. But there is nothing like a support and a love from yourself. Nothing like it. 26 is you don't need to monetize your hobbies or be good at them. That is your permission slip. Go do things and be fucking terrible at them. Go do things just for fun. Go do things and play and have a good time and laugh. You don't need to monetize everything. No matter what the internet is telling you, you don't need to monetize everything. Have fun. 27, write things down. Journal, document, manifest. Looking back at how far you've come is intoxicating and motivating. Write them down, journal it out. It's so simple, and a lot of people are very resistant to journaling, but you don't have to only journal when things are bad. You can journal when things are going fucking amazing, and then you will create more of it. Be intentional about the things you are writing down. I recently started a journal. It's like this really nice leather/felt journal that I got years ago at Chapters, like years ago, like 2013, I think. But it was so beautiful and perfect that I never wrote in it because, again, I didn't think I was worthy of celebration or enjoying really nice things. So I never wrote in it. But now I've started writing letters to the universe in it. And it's all the things that I'm creating, but in current tense. And it's been fucking amazing and crazy. Like I started like using it and things just started happening so fast. Write things down. 28 is worthy is a feeling, and learn how it feels to you. Learn how worthy feels. Does it feel like excitement? Does it feel like safety? What does worthy feel like? And tap into that shit every day, even if it's just for 1 minute a day. 29, you are worthy simply because you exist. You will discover that one day and it will feel like a huge breakthrough. But for most of us, you'll have to do the inner work to release the stories and past experiences that gave you the impression that you weren't worthy. There are so many reasons as to why you don't feel worthy, but none of them are actually true. They are just thoughts, they are just belief systems, they are past experiences in your body, and you can release it all and decide that you are worthy and capable and good enough. And the last one, 30, is worthiness is a journey. Enjoy where you are and who you are, because you will never be this version of you again. And again, like this is something that was so hard for me in the past because I was always trying to achieve and get more of, and there was never enough. And happiness is really being okay with what is happening currently, but also having hope for the future and feeling like there is so much more available to me. But things are also good now, no matter what was happening for me in my current moment, especially having ADHD and having issues with emotional regulation and having bad things happen in my life, or having a fucking speech impediment that affects me every single day. I still find time in each day to be like, I am safe, I am okay, I am good enough. Life is good. It can get better and it can be even greater, but right now I am okay. Worthiness is a journey. Enjoy where you are and who you are, because you will never be this version of her again. I just wanted to say that one more time. All right, guys. I am off. When you're listening to this, I'm going to be off enjoying my 30th birthday. Again, go on Instagram at your coach Jill. Wish me a happy birthday. Connect with me over there. I hope you love this episode, and I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a listener. If you are a client, I love you, and thank you for being a client. If you want to be a client, go to the link in my show notes, because I am filling up fast for one-to-one coaching spots for 6 months. This is for you to overcome imposter syndrome and sign consistent clients in your business. And I cannot wait to see you on your success journey, on your worthiness journey. I love you so much. Bye. Thanks for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Head to the show notes to find out how you can take this work deeper with me in one-to-one coaching or in my lifetime group coaching program, The Worthy Woman Method. In the show notes, you'll also find a free 3-day challenge to start the process of overcoming your inner imposter. And once you're done with that, screenshot this episode and share it on Instagram, tagging me at Your Coach Jill so we can connect. See you next time.